Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me today. It's Allan Laboucan with the Rocks and Stocks News Show. Seeing some important trends and developments with companies that I wanted to talk about today. One of the big trends that I follow every year at this time is the January effect. This has a way of the big institutions out there at the end of one year and the start of another. They tend to look at things from a yearly perspective. And oftentimes they're positioning themselves in January for what they see is going to happen in the year. And I'm seeing a pretty distinct trend developing here. I'm going to share my screen now. And here's the US dollar. And in the January effect, it started out at a very bullish or very bearish situation. It's actually been correcting since November or September, and it has been on a very significant drop. As you can see, the 50-day moving average is on a very bearish trend. It went through a death cross in early January. It's pointing towards a very negative 2023 for several reasons. The Federal Reserve is getting close to the end of its interest rate hiking. It had been on a relentless path. I think that it's very close to ending the interest rate hikes. They're breaking things. They're over tightening and breaking things. You can see that in the real estate numbers. You can see it, the bond market, the yield curves are all inverting. And now you've also got the politicians fighting over the debt limit, increasing the debt limit. So everything is pointing towards a tough year for the US dollar. And at the same time, check out gold. Gold is doing the exact opposite, has gone through a golden cross, bottomed in September, October, November, had a significant breakout, is now trading well above the 50-day and the 200-day moving average. The 200-day moving average is now about to start trending upwards. And I think what we'll see in 2023 is a very strong year for the price of gold. I think we're going to get aggressively over 2,000 and head towards 2,500 this year, which will be very bullish for the gold stocks. And where gold goes often is an indicator of the entire metals complex. You can see that happening in the price of silver. Just pull this up now, and there you go. Silver's gone through a golden cross in late December. The 50-day is significantly above the 200-day. The 200-day is about to start getting more bullish as well, and we're trading just a little bit above, about 90 cents above the 50-day moving average. I think silver and gold are ready for another rally here in the next little while. Copper also doing very well. Copper is kind of an indicator of where the rest of the base metals will go. It's started out with a very good January effect as well. Just went through a golden cross here not too long ago. Is trading aggressively above the 200-day and the 50-day moving average. So the metals complex is in very good condition. And we're starting to see some more life in the stocks, which is what I think is the best way to play bullish trends for precious and base metals. Okay, so let's take a look at Silvercrest. Silvercrest has been on my mind a lot lately, and I made it a pick, and I'm kind of banging the table on it. As you can see in the earlier this week, it had a pretty significant breakout on Tuesday and Wednesday. It's given back a little bit of those gains, but I like to see it trading aggressively above its 50-day and 200-day, and it went through a golden cross in January as well. So it's shaping up for an excellent January effect. I think that what makes me so excited about Silvercrest is they've got a new mine that they put into full commercial production back here in November. And it is a very low cost producer. They're producing silver at about $6.80 an ounce. And they're producing in the hundreds of grams per ton, 700 or more grams per ton is in their economic evaluations, and looks like there's a pretty good chance that they're going to increase that. And so they've got a cash machine of a mine at their Las Chispas mine, and this is the kind of thing that can generate a lot of free cash flow. And that free cash flow gives them opportunities. They can pay dividends, they can buy back stock, they can look at acquisitions of other projects. I think that they're at a really important juncture in the Lassonde curve that what happens is in the Lassonde curve, you see two exciting periods for new discovery. The one is they have exploration success, and you get a big run on that exploration success. And then there's a period called the development discount window that as they do the economic evaluation and build the mine. And then there's another big move when they put something into production. And Silvercrest has gone that whole route with their Las Chispas mine, and now it's in commercial production. Often what will happen is it takes a quarter or two of reports for the big bean counters at institutions to get really excited. And what that creates is an opportunity for the retail investors out there, in that they can get in there before the big institutions start seeing the quarterly reports to confirm those numbers that they had in their economic evaluation. Everything is pointing towards Silvercrest having an exceptionally good year. And the second reason that it's on my mind a lot lately is the company where I'm the CEO and a large shareholder, Advanced Lithium, has a 55 square kilometer property right beside. Actually, I'm going to show you that on Google Earth. Here, let me just pull it up, get to Las Chispas, and there it is. So as you can see here, I'm just zooming into the area around Las Chispas, and here is the project that we own, Advanced Lithium. It goes down here somewhere. Here's Las Chispas. Here's Ermitaño. Ermitaño is First Majestic's one of their best performing mines. Las Chispas is a cash cow of a mine as well. As you can see here, this network of faulting and rocks continues right up into our Serape project. Serape is a 55 square kilometer project. It has two big veins on it. One is the Serape vein itself. The second is the Chiltepin vein. Both of these veins have been underexplored. Looking at the data closely, I can see that the minimal drilling that's been done in the past has pretty much looks like what you get above the boiling zone of an epithermal vein. Finding that boiling zone of the epithermal vein is crucially important because that's where you get the juices with the gold in them and the silver in them that makes these epithermal vein mines so important. And doing it right is important because I'm going to bring up a couple maps here. Oh, you didn't see my screen share here. I got to go off the screen share and then back on, so you can go back to Google Earth. And there's the Google Earth image. There's Serape, and here's Las Chispas. Here's the rock packages. Same kind of rock, same kind of geology, same kind of epithermal vein story. Okay, now I'm going to stop share again because I want to bring up a couple of, go back to here. Yeah, that one. And I'm just going to bring up a couple of, here's origin, or no, that's not the one I want. So here is the resource at Ermitaño, which is to the south of our Serape. If you had been drilling out here, you wouldn't have found it. They drilled over here, they found it, they've continued to drill, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's wide open. Understanding the boiling zone of these epithermal veins, they have zonation of grade. And as you can see, if you're over here, you're going to miss it. Even if you drill a shallow holes over here, you're probably going to miss it. And I think that what we know at Serape is that it's the Serape vein itself is very large. It's seen not enough drilling. I don't believe that they've drilled into the boiling zone yet. One thing that I've really been doing lately is, as I've been banging the drum on Silvercrest, I've been doing a lot of reporting to get the word out about our Serape project. And as you can see, in the last couple of weeks, we've started to trade significantly more volume. The 50-day is starting to trend upwards. Looks like we're only a couple weeks away from a golden cross. We're now trading above our 50-day and our 200-day moving average, and we're getting a lot more interest as I've been making our audience and my audience at Rocks and Stocks News more aware of what we have at Serape, it's right beside Silvercrest, and the old saying goes, if you want to look for a cash machine of a mine, good place to look is right beside one, especially if you're in the same kind of rocks, the same kind of structures, and looking for the same kind of system, which is an epithermal vein system. So stay tuned for more word out of us for our Serape project. And there you go. Okay, now another company that's been on my mind a lot lately is Paycor. Paycor is in an exciting area of Nevada near the town of Eureka. And what makes it exciting is I-80 Gold has made an exceptional discovery of a CRD. They've got two actual mineralized zones. One is a CRD with your zinc, lead, and silver. And then you've also got an overprint of extremely high-grade gold. And that's the same thing that Paycor has about 2,000 meters from where I-80 Gold has made their high-grade CRD. Paycor also has a CRD with the high grades of silver, lead, zinc, as well as an overprint of very high-grade gold. And recently they announced an $8 million bought deal financing. The next day they had to double it because there's so much demand for the financing. So now it's a $16 million bought deal financing. And this will give them plenty of money to go after their CRD with the high-grade gold overprint in a very aggressive way. This company this region is very exciting because if you look at the value of the metals in the rock, at both I-80 Gold and Paycor, you're looking at values of over 1,000 to over 5,000 per ton of metals in the rock that they're hitting with their drilling. This makes it some of the most valuable rock being found anywhere in the mining sector for any kind of metal. So it's a hell of a combination. This region of Eureka has a long history. About 100 years, there was mining of CRDs because they were so high grade that, you know, there was 100 years of mining when metals prices were significantly lower than they are now. And now that you've got much higher metals prices and these phenomenal CRDs, it's a very exciting time for the Eureka mining camp. The big leader in the mining camp is I-80 Gold. You just bring up their chart and look at the performance of it since November when it announced its tremendous results from their CRD, had bonanza grades of gold in it, plus exceptional CRD mineralization with your zinc, lead, and silver. That made for a remarkable breakout, and a golden cross here, trading well above its 200-day moving average. And as of today, it's trading right on its 50-day moving average. I think this is the next launch point because they do have a bunch of assay results pending from the CRD discovery that could come out any day now. So these two companies are kind of in lockstep, making impressive CRD discoveries right outside of Eureka, Nevada. Now, another company that's in the Eureka area is Golden Lake Exploration, where I'm an advisor to the company. They're also a sponsor. As you can see, they've been following the same path as a trend as both I-80 and Paycor. They went through a golden cross here recently. They had some news out on their, they did a bunch of, well, first of all, what's most important is they've also drilled into a CRD with high-grade silver, lead, and zinc, as well as an overprint of high-grade gold. So they've got the same kind of thing as I-80 and Paycor to their north, their neighbors to their north. And then recently they got assay results back from a bunch of sampling around their project, and it had the same kind of things again, CRD with a high-grade gold overprint in their surface sampling. So it looks like they can make more discoveries of CRDs with this high grades of lead, zinc, silver, and the overprint to high-grade gold. So another company that's in the area also is Timberline. Now, Timberline has not been performing in the same fashion as their three of their neighbors, but I think they're very oversold here. And the reason that I say that is they've already got a significant resource of gold that they've been working hard on, and it's growing. And as it's growing, as they move to the east, all the mineralization, all of the rock packages, all of the structures are pointing towards a very large geophysical anomaly. And it looks like that geophysical anomaly is the source of the gold mineralization in the resource. I hope that in the not too distant future, they should be drilling their way to the east enough to hit that big geophysical anomaly. I think that's a game changer for the company. Another potential game changer for the company is they're in the same kind of rock as I-80 Gold, Paycor, and Golden Lake. and they have a lot of historical mining of CRDs on their property. So they are also in that CRD camp, as well as this is a great area for looking for gold deposits as well. Eureka to me is really emerging as one of the most important parts of all of Nevada. And I'm really bullish on all four of those companies. Fortunately, they are sponsors of my website, so I put out a lot of content regarding them. Okay, another company that's in Nevada is Athena Gold. And Athena Gold just recently became a sponsor of my website. In fact, I put this report out yesterday. Some of the key things from their drilling, they've drilled it 3 holes into a new discovery. DB23 hit 10 meters of 15.3 grams of gold. In the summertime, they announced that. Then they got back on there in the fall, and they hit 2 more holes. Hole DH2201 had 2 intercepts. One started at 39.5 meters. It was 10 grams of gold and 30 grams of silver over 10.7 meters. So a nice thick intersection of high grade. And then you've got, and at 77 meters, it hit 5 grams per ton of gold, 14 grams of silver over 13.7 meters. So they're getting some nice intersections. To the west of DB23 and 2201 is 2202. At 41 meters, they hit 7.29 grams of gold and 44 grams of silver over 9.1 meters. Now, this is in the Walker Lane trend, which is on the west side of Nevada, and 50 miles to the south of them is the Bullfrog region. Anglo Gold Ashanti is basically setting up camp there. They bought out Corvus Gold. They've spent about $600 million getting a dominant land package around 50 miles to the south of Athena. And what's, in addition to buying what will the Corvus projects, which will be their first mine in the area, they've also got a silicon project, which is a oxide project that they're drilling like crazy on right now. I think they've got 10 drill rigs operating at silicon right now. It's a 3.4 million ounce gold discovery of oxide gold. And that's what Athena is looking for 50 miles to the north, is a oxide gold discovery. And they're already only 3 holes into it, and they're already getting some nice zones, as you can see here. This was the one with 2 hits, an upper and a lower zone. This was the one from the summertime with a nice thick intersection of high grade. You've got more gold, nice gold mineralization here and here. This one ended in mineralization here. So it's a heck of a good start for a project in Nevada. This is their claim maps here. This is where they made the discovery. And I would point out a couple of important geophysical anomalies. One is right here, and one is right here. This one is the likely suspect of what caused this gold mineralization that they hit. There's also an important structure coming across here. It's parallel with this structure. There's likely structures going through here. Also, if you look here, here is one fault, and here is another fault. And right where they come together is where they've got this big geophysical anomaly. So now they're going to extend this geophysical grid to get a better idea of their whole claim block. I'm really excited about that. I'm excited about what they've already hit. Really happy that they became a new sponsor. And you can find the interview that I did with their management on my YouTube channel. This is what I'm on right now, is my my Rocks and Stocks at Substack. Okay, so Athena is a very cheap valuation Nevada exploration play that I'm very optimistic about and glad to have as a new sponsor. Another new sponsor is Dynasty Gold. Now, Dynasty is in Ontario, and they're looking for an orogenic gold system. And I think they've started to tag one. Let's look at some of the numbers. Hole DP 2202 hit 43 grams of gold over 3 meters at 180 meters of depth. Hole 03 hit a spectacular intersection of 3 meters of 101 grams of gold with a subinterval of 1.5 meters of 246 grams per ton of gold at a depth of 118 meters. Then hole 04 hit 25 grams over 1.5 meters at 145 meters of depth. Now, there's some of the good-looking core for an orogenic gold system. And what I've been told by the management is right now they're working on an updated corporate presentation. And in that corporate presentation, they're going to do some cross sections. So you can see where they're hitting this high grade to bonanza grade gold at depth, and how things are starting to hang together, even just from the first few holes into a jewelry box of a orogenic gold system. They're off to a great start, and as you can see here in their stock chart, it blasted off when they made that announcement of the 246 grams of gold over 1.5 meters. As often happens, that brought a lot of hot money in, and that hot money tends to get out quickly. It's maintaining about half of its gain off of that news release. I think that it offers a very excellent entry point here because, as you can see, they also went through a golden cross. Yeah, they're very early days into an orogenic gold system discovery. They're already in bonanza grades at very close to surface. I think that they're at an important juncture, really early into getting a little bit deeper. There was a significant amount of drilling very shallow. And these orogenic gold systems are important because they tend to go very, very deep. And as you get deeper, you get into higher grade because you're getting closer to the heat engine. They're very close to surface still, and they're already in a jewelry box kind of bonanza grades of gold. I think this one has a tremendous future ahead of it. The next interview that I'm going to do with the company is I'm going to meet with once they put their new corporate presentation out with some plan maps and some cross sections. I also want to meet with their key geologist that picked these 3 holes to ask him why he picked these 3 holes, because whatever his reasoning was, I hope they keep following up on his reasoning and chase it at deeper. Okay, another company that I've been quite optimistic about, I picked them in my tax loss selling picks, is a company called Firefox. As you can see here, they were one of the tax loss selling season picks of mine, trading right at about 86 cents or 8.8 cents. They've moved up nicely since then. They recently had some excellent results out. They're in Finland, and Finland is a very exciting discovery area for a few reasons. There's Rupert has made some important discoveries out there. There's other companies making important discoveries. This is an orogenic gold camp, very old rocks, deep crustal cracks in the earth that allow the gold-bearing fluids to make their way up to surface. They've had some great results out recently. I'm working on getting their management on an interview. I talked to them back in December, and you can find that interview on my YouTube channel at Rocks and Stocks News. Yeah, I like this story a lot. They've got a big land package in an exciting area. They're hitting gold mineralization with excellent grades and thicknesses. And I think they've got a very bright future ahead of them. So take a look at Firefox. One of my deep value plays is a company called BlackRock. I'm a big fan of what they have at their Tonopah project in Nevada. At Tonopah, they've got an expanding resource. Recently had some excellent results out from it. It has a very high grade of silver in the maiden resource of around 450 grams of silver in the resource. And earlier I talked about Silvercrest, and I think about Silvercrest a lot when I talk about BlackRock, because when Silvercrest came out with their maiden resource, it was around the same size of ounces of silver in the ground as BlackRock's maiden resource. What makes BlackRock's a little more interesting is the grade is actually higher at the maiden resource that BlackRock put out. Now, I talked to management back in the late part of 2022, and Andrew Pollard, who's their CEO, made some very important points about the maiden resource that Silvercrest put out. One is that theirs is in the same size, but better grade. Secondly, that what they did to expand the resource is the same plan or path to success that BlackRock is going to do at their Tonopah project. Silvercrest went in and really, well, they expanded it, which BlackRock is also doing, but then they focused in on the high-grade portions of the mineralization. And as they did that, they increased the resource dramatically, and the grade went up and up and up and up and up. I think that's the same path that BlackRock can follow going forward. And that's not the only key project that excites me. Another one is their Silver Cloud project. At Silver Cloud, they drilled a few holes. One of them quite far away from any of their other holes, and they hit bonanza grades of gold and silver. 70 grams of gold, hundreds of grams of silver in an epithermal vein. Now it looks like they have tagged into the boiling zone of an epithermal vein. Now is when it gets really exciting for that kind of a project. They're at a crucial juncture of drilling that epithermal vein. The nice thing about epithermal veins is where you find one, you can also find many, and some of them don't even come to surface. They're called blind veins. So I think that they've got a great epithermal vein to go after at Silver Cloud, and also look for other ones in that immediate area. So they've got many catalysts. I picked them in my year-end report for two reasons. One, as a tax loss selling play. They were trading down here at about 44 cents. They are trading now at 53 cents. They've broken above their 50-day moving average. I think they've got the catalyst to break through their 200-day moving average in a short period and get into a golden cross probably within the next 3 to 4 weeks, and plenty of catalyst to drive that action. So keep an eye on BlackRock Silver. Okay, I'm going to now talk about one more company in Nevada. I'm a big fan of Nevada, as you can probably understand, is Walker River Resources. Walker River Resources in that Walker Lane trend as well. They've got the LaPont Canyon project, and there there's historical mining and their own drilling that has established a zone in the mountain about 600 meters from side to side and about 800 meters from top to bottom, with widespread high-grade gold mineralization, a network of structures, and a big alteration zone. All of this is pointing towards a very large and continuous high-grade gold system that is in the multi-million ounce target, and that's without a doubt. They're looking at something that could be multi-million ounces. Now, they've had some challenges because they've been trying to drill this thing from the side of a mountain, and trying to follow the continuity when you're hanging drills off the side of a mountain is challenging. But last year they had a really important breakthrough. They drilled at the top of the mountain into what they call their hotspot zone. And then in December, they were able to get on top of that hotspot zone where there's a flat area, and they were able to drill some vertical holes into that hotspot zone. Those results are pending right now, and they're important for a couple of reasons. One is, of course, the potential to hit high-grade gold at that hotspot zone as they drill into it. The second is that this is going to give them a better understanding of the 3D model of the mineralization at the top of the system. And then that will help them follow that system deeper into the mountain. And I think it's continuous from the top all the way down to the bottom of the mountain. And I think it continues on to the other side where there's another mountain. The reason I say that is you can see the same network of faulting, cracks in the earth. And on the other side of LaPont Canyon, there's a bunch of a big alteration halo as well. So I think that this whole system is part of one big and powerful gold mineralizing system that followed those cracks, the LaPont Canyon and these secondary faulting, all the way up to the top of the mountain where they're getting high grade. So this is an exceptional exploration project, and I think Walker River has the potential to hit it out of the park. They have a bunch of assays pending, so I think that there's lots of optimism being built up in the stock lately. It's gone through a golden cross, and I think they've got the catalysts to drive the valuation much higher. Okay, before I close, I want to close on my favorite base metal exploration story, which is 9 Mile Metals. 9 Mile Metals is in the Bathurst mining camp, one of the third most important VMS mining camps in the world. They have been finding new massive sulfide occurrences. One of them is their 9 Mile Brook lens. It comes right to surface, and it's about 10 meters thick and has up to 10% copper in it. Just some spectacularly high grades right at surface. And that's the top of a VMS system. And the source of that system still remains to be found. But what has me very excited is that if you're getting a thick intersection of a lens and high grade right at surface, it is a heck of a good indicator that the source of where that came from is also big and high grade. Now, you can wave your arms and say that about a lot of projects, but they aren't in elephant country that's known for big deposits. and big mines. And that's where they are. In fact, the most important one is the in that camp. Actually, I'm going to bring up that Google Earth here. Let me zoom in here. So now I keep forgetting. I gotta stop share. For some reason, it doesn't like when I do it that way. So here we go. Okay. Brunswick number 12 is the granddaddy of all the mines in the Brunswick mining camp. The 9 Mile Brook lands is 10 kilometers from that, about the same distance from Brunswick 6. These are the big monsters in this camp, and Heath Steel was an exceptional one as well. And at 9 Mile Brook here, this is where they hit a lens. They've got a structure coming through here, and right there's a hinge to that structure that you can also see quite nicely in the geophysics. I think that's the potential source of where that thick lens of high grade came from. They've got just then they drilled 20 kilometers away. They went over to California Lake here using geophysics. They found a series of massive sulfide hits in their drilling there as well. They put out the assay results from that, came back very nice. Again, you've got another massive sulfide occurrence with excellent grades, and the source remains to be open or remains to be found. So in addition to these two, it's important to note that that massive sulfides occur in clusters, and where you find one, you find more. And they have some great geophysics. In fact, if you go to my last interview that I did with their management on my YouTube channel at Rocks and Stocks News, you will find we went over the three-dimensional geophysics. It's very eye-opening stuff. I really encourage you to go look at that interview on YouTube at Rocks and Stocks News, or you can also go on my Substack here. Let me go to the main page of Substack, if this will cooperate with me. There we go. And where is that interview? Man, I've been putting out a lot of content of late because I'm really bullish on what's happening. Here it is, the 9 Mile Metals update on drilling in the Bathurst. That was on January 18th. So you can find it either at my Substack, rocksandstocks.substack.com, or the YouTube channel. Okay, so I'm going to go back here. As you can see in the chart, 200-day is very bullish. 50-day is trading above the 200-day and very bullish, trading just above its 200-day moving average right now. I think they're undervalued just on what they've already reported, let alone the fact that right as we speak now, they've got a drill program underway at around that 9 Mile Brook lens, and I'm very bullish about them finding. I think they're going to find the source of that big, thick, high-grade lens, and when they do, you're not going to see this company having a under $20 million valuation for very much longer. So do your homework on that one as well. Okay, I'm going to stop share here. And so wanted to put a quick show together for you guys. I wanted to talk about some of the trends that I'm seeing and some of the companies that are on my mind a lot lately. Another segment I'm going to be starting is I used to do a weekly wrap up on Fridays of news that caught my attention during the week. I'm going to be launching that again tomorrow. So pay attention to that one. And then I do my weekend reports as well. So got a lot of content coming at you soon. Stay tuned for more. As always, do your homework, speak with your financial advisors before making any investment decisions. On that note, have a great day and we'll talk to you soon.